book before? Those shoes? It's
Yeah.
Who said yeah?
Me.
You have? Alright. Anybody else? Yeah? Sweet. It's a really good book. What do you guys think it's going to be about?
I don't know.
Alright, somebody who doesn't know. Maybe?
Maybe it's about matching shoes.
Okay, matching shoes. Ellie?
Maybe it's that kid thinks that their shoes are cool and he doesn't like these shoes.
Oh, alright. Good observation. So this is by Maribeth Boelts and illustrated by Noah Z. Jones. I have a dream about those shoes. Black high tops and 2 white stripes. And here he is. He's looking up at like a billboard, and those are the shoes he's talking about. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here, just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. Can you guys give me some examples of what a want and a need is?
A need is something like you need to eat, like some vegetables if you don't have any food. A want is like if you want like this toy.
Good. So you need food because you need that to survive, and you want a toy, but you don't really need it.
Sometimes it's like this. You need it to do your chores, but you want to go to your home.
Okay.
So a want is something that you don't have to have, but it's something that you want to do. A need is something that you need.
Alright, good. Good thoughts. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. All of them have these shoes. Then one day, in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfred, the guidance counselor says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size, Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid ever watched. This is Mr. Alfred going through a box of things he has for kids that they need, and those are the shoes that Alfred's getting. Just coming back to class. What do you notice in this picture? Colton? Laughing. So we have four people laughing. Gio? Yeah. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfred shoes and laughs. And so do Terrence, Brandon T, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfred." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes, but when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think it might bust. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little bit of money set aside. Might be enough. You never know." At the shoe store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. "Maybe they wrote it down wrong," I say. Grandma shakes her head. Then I remember the thrift shops. Do you guys know what a thrift shop is?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No.
Can someone explain it for those who don't know? You want to explain?
The thrift shop is with shoes, like all kind of shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and thrift shops have clothes, so if you grow out of clothes because you're kids and you grow really fast, you can donate your clothes that don't fit you anymore to a thrift shop, and they sell them to people who might not have a lot of money to spend on clothes. So they go there to get good clothes and for a little bit cheaper. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoe except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. Looking in the window. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. How exciting, Grandma says. What size are they? I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. I don't know, but I think they fit. Do you think they're gonna fit?
Yeah.
All right, we got mixed answers. Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of the shoe. Oh, Jeremy, she says. I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. They're okay, I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. At home a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my 2 big feet shuffling around in my 2 small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfrey's shoes, or I have to wear my Mr. Alfrey's to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up and his feet look smaller than mine. You guys remember Antonio from earlier?
Yeah.
He was the one who didn't laugh at him. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. We shoot baskets and a loose piece of tape of Antonio's shoes smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think, I'm not going to do it. We leap off the swings. I'm not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Grandma calls me for supper. Well, what do we think he's talking about here? What do you think he's not going to do? Carson?
He's not gonna keep his shoes because he saw that his feet look smaller than his feet would fit.
Gotcha. So you think Jeremy's gonna give Antonio his shoes that don't fit? Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I am awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and run. Here's the shoes. And here he is running. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at my Mr. Alfred shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere, there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remember what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Let's race. The end. What did you guys think? Did you like that story? Yeah. Did you learn anything new? No. What did you learn if you said you learned something new? Carson? Carson?
That if something else is right here, that yeah, but if it's somebody else, you can give it to them. They don't have it.
It's really nice, yeah. Did anyone else say they learned something new? Laura?
That if something doesn't fit you like those pair of shoes, and if it fits someone else that they really like, you can give it to them because it doesn't fit you.
Yeah, that would be really nice. If you give your stuff that you outgrow to somebody who needs them, isn't it?